WV Uncommon Place. This podcast is a variety podcast that houses numerous series to cover mental health, empowerment, podcast framework, and various intimate theories to get to know the hosts. Along with occasional movies reviews and dives in pop culture with our event podcast episodes. The Uncommon Place digs into bringing guests on that stories don't fit the mold and are very different. WV stands for the great state of West Virginia, and every quarter we cover something in West Virginia. Stacey and myself, JR, are your hosts, so please come along for this venture to our Uncommon Place.
Welcome to West Virginia Commonplace. Today's episode is part of a series that I'm doing for the Nintendo 64. There was a slew of games that came out for it. One game in particular, Mega Man 64. It was a game that was developed by Capcom, came out in 2000, a little bit later on in the life of the Nintendo 64. It was the first game to be in 3D. It was actually the Mega Man Legends from the PlayStation. Game was set in 20XX. You took control of Mega Man, you fought Dr. Wily and his robots like always. Got a special arm. It was a mega arm to grab and throw things. 3D graphics, the controls were very well. The legacy on this game is going to be kind of somewhat mixed, as it's considered by many to be one of the weak entries in the Mega Man series due to its camera and control issues. However, it was an important game in the series as it marked its transition from 2D to 3D graphics, which was a significant step in the evolution of the franchise. The game's innovative use of 3D graphics and its new control scheme and gameplay mechanics were also influential in the development of future Mega Man games. Despite the criticism, the game has a dedicated fan base and is considered a classical in there. Additionally, it helped to expand the reach of the Mega Man series to new audience by introducing the franchise to people who may have not been familiar with it prior to the game's release. So overall, the game is important in the history despite its shortcomings. Now let's go into the shortcomings real quick. The creative design on this game, it wasn't where it was for me, because I was used to Metal Gear Solid type games and stuff like that, but it was like 3D Mega Man. I could get out here and play boom, boom, boom with the controller. It was pretty wild. Now the 3D visuals, they were awesome. I had no issue with this game. The telling of the story, the level design, little off here and there, but it was just one of those things where if you didn't have it on PlayStation and you had a Nintendo 64, it was one of the few games that didn't have that Nintendo 64 foggy feel to it. So it was kind of one of those games where I was like, I gotta play this again on this system, and I played it continuously, and it's one of the games that I'm actually searching for now that I will get into. Now, me being a Capcom guy, going 3D was kind of hard for me because I was used to the Mega Man X series from the Sega Saturn and the other systems. But once I got this going, I didn't look back. It led to one of the games. It was Trombone that came out. Mega Man Legends 2, I never played, which is odd. I believe that was still a PlayStation entry, maybe PlayStation 2. But I didn't get to play that. But this one stuck with me for the simple fact that I could get in there. And it was fun. People could see, oh, you're playing this. Oh, I didn't know Mega Man was in 3D. And he didn't have his helmet on. And that was a whole different ball game for me there. And I don't know, my experience on the 64 was this: when you had that controller in your hand, that rumble pack in, you really felt that you were in the game, because we had rumble features on the DualShock controller, but we didn't get that till later. So this is the first controller I'm getting that, when I'm getting that force feedback, and it was one of those amazing things for me. So not to make this a long show or anything like that, this was pretty much straight to the point about Mega Man. So my reason that this game has a heart-lasting impression: when anybody buys a Nintendo 64, they go GoldenEye, Super Mario 64, Zelda, Ocarina of Time. Some people say go with Spider-Man, which I don't consider Spider-Man a great game, but this game holds up better than Superman and some of the other games. So if I had to do a top 10 games, Mega Man 64 is definitely in my top 10 for these simple facts that switch over to 3D. The controls weren't bad. And just moving Mega Man in every direction, and that mega arm, learning how to use that and to do all that right there kind of is what stuck with me and will stay with me forever, dealing with Mega Man 64. So on that note, I'll leave it at this. This is one of my favorite games on the Nintendo 64. And like I said, we're going to do 4 games in this series, and we'll just keep it going from there. Once again, I am JR from West Virginia Uncommon Place, and I am signing off.
Please follow WV Uncommon Place on Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, TikTok, where we have some great content, Facebook, LinkedIn. Hit up the merch store at woncommonplace.square.site. Join the email list from the website, and rate, subscribe, and give feedback from your favorite podcatcher. And lastly, thanks for listening, and tune into the next episode.